Well, good afternoon, guys. Today I'm hiking up to Ensign Peak. Not because I want to go up to Ensign Peak, because it's going to help me cross over to this road where a fire burned over recently. The Sandhurst Fire that was back in August and late July. So I just want to see what happened exactly. I saw some pics showing some plants have recovered, but it may have been from earlier in the autumn. It is currently November 1st, so it might be a bit late to see anything interesting, but I'll be the judge of that. And there you have it. That's very clearly the burn that I'm looking for. I just need to find a way to get over there. Shouldn't be too hard though. I mean, I can always go off trail if I want to, but I try to avoid it. I try to set a good example. I mean, it's not so bad going off trail sometimes, but never know. You know, I gotta say, I think some of these bunch grasses here are actually native, but I really am quite bad at identifying grasses, so I can't tell you for sure what they are. But generally speaking, not as a rule, most invasive grasses will be non-bunch grasses. They just grow single or just a couple of stems, while a lot of native grasses here are bunch grasses that produce many stems and leaves from the same sort of clump. Just like that. That's all one plant there. Got some other good natives. Of course, Gutierrezia sarothrae, which I wanted to make a video about, but I just didn't have time to make a species profile about it this year. Hopefully next autumn, before I go on my possible trip, I can do that. Yeah, I think the fire ended up burning about 200 acres, and it was, as you might imagine, a very high priority to control because it could have burned easily over these hills and into the avenues neighborhood on the other side. It should be big enough to see some interesting things here, especially I think next year will be very interesting. I'll definitely revisit this place to try and get some more footage of what exactly happened here. I'm going to hold my camera steady as I walk. See, now when I'm walking downhill, I can actually speak into the camera just fine without huffing and puffing so much. Yeah, most of the plants here are not that interesting, at least the ones that I can observe at the moment. It's been a while since I talked about Alyssum desertorum. That's a good thing. I haven't talked about it much because it's an invasive from, I believe, Central Asia, as so many are around here. It is, let's zoom in closer for you guys. It's the little things right there. It's a member of the family Brassicaceae. It doesn't look quite like this when it's in bloom, but after it's pollinated, the flowers sort of inflorescence lengthens and produces this very typically brassicaceous looking thing. If you know what the family looks like typically, then this is very clearly a member of it. Yeah, not a good sign to see here, but it's so common. It's just like the Sakali cereale. It's like it's going to be part of the ecosystem of the West for the end of time, pretty much, until it evolves into something else. Really quickly before I forget, guys, I want to say thank you for the 100 subscribers, all of you. It's been a long time to making. It's taken me almost 3 years to get here, which is, I mean, kind of embarrassingly slow, but better late than never. And I still just want to thank all you guys for it. This is the first video I've made, at least in terms of filming, since getting 100 subscribers, though there will probably be 5 others uploaded by the time this one is. I just, including a few where I've mentioned the upcoming occasion. So yeah, it might be a little awkward, but I just want to thank you guys properly for all that. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully the next 100 come a lot sooner. All right, we are just about there. Here we got nice green growth. Looks like they didn't cross the trail much on that side, if at all. Some trees that look like they were eat up as part of a containment effort to control the fire. And they seem pretty badly burned. Right here's where it gets really bad. I've always wanted to explore a recently burned area, but I've not had any good opportunities until now, so I'm really excited for this. Look at that. You know, the reason I thought the picture I saw of this burned area was more in like early autumn was because there's all these green plants in the ground, which are clearly new Gambel Oak shoots. But no, it's November 1st right now and they're still quite green. I presume just save up as much energy as possible and grow as much as possible before the coming winter, get as nice of a head start. It's going to take a lot of energy to undo what nature has done here and grow back, but it's already starting, which I would like to see. This is awesome. course, these stems aren't going to be growing back. They're not like Australian trees where we have the epicormic or apical buds underneath the bark that are ready to go at any time. So like when you see Australian trees after a wildfire, their new growth comes all up and down the stems, so they look like a giant bottle brush. Redwoods can do that too, actually. It's a pretty cool adaptation that some species have to fire, but these ones don't. They just go right back from the roots, or maybe they're just burned too badly to recover that way. Exciting. And I'm pretty sure these are mostly not new shoots. They are just, or not new plants, they are new shoots from the same existing plants whose roots have survived. Also got some of this ragweed, which I believe is Ambrosia, is it psilostachya or Ambrosia polystachya? I think it's the native most common ragweed, but it could be the a very similar looking non-native from the eastern and central states. Crazy. I'll try and walk into it a bit more and see what's what. Now, not every tree in the burn scar has fared so poorly. These ones clearly survived a bit, indicated by their green leaves, of course. It seems like all the ones down here in this ravine actually, to an extent, have survived. They don't seem very burned at all. The ones up there, very obviously burned. Might get some mountain bikers passing us soon, but who cares? I can see up here too on the other side of the trail, or road I should say, it didn't really cross. So all these plants are doing pretty well for themselves. Or I guess it did up here, but it was stopped before it could get too deep into the forest and seriously burned them. While we're still experiencing all that new growth that we saw earlier. It's very exciting to see. There doesn't seem to be that many of any other plants growing back, aside from this weird thing on the ground. Found any flowers, so I'm not going to be able to tell what it is, but otherwise it's all this Gambel Oak so far, which makes sense because these forests are pretty dense and have a lot of other species growing inside of them, or depths. Well, we might soon actually have to recover. It might be a nice period of time where other plants can, that like disturbed areas will come back in force before the canopy becomes closed again. I wonder if they're going to be removing any of these old trunks, because they could very easily burn again and create a large, basically just abundant brush to catch fire in the future. It's already pre-cooked even, and pre-charcoaled. And some of these are already up to about 2 feet tall already, which is pretty impressive. Could have been more than about 2 or 3 months of growth. I guess, yeah, 3 months of growth at this point in time. How much longer will it be before they shed their leaves? It's a former dry creek bed. Actually, it's still a dry creek bed, but it's hard to recognize. You can all see it. Basically, all the brush in the ground has been cleared up. I wonder if they raked it at all, or just it got all totally burned. Yeah, this might be a fairly short video. I don't know what else to talk about here, but we can see the value in this, and thanks for watching and see you next time. Normally you'd not be able to see through this forest clearly at all, like you can now. You can see the other side of the hill there. Where if it's not burned, it'd be totally invisible at the other side of those little grove of Gambel Oaks are. They just grow that densely with so much leaves and underbrush naturally accumulating underneath them. I'm sure you've seen plenty of times in my videos, but some of you are definitely be new viewers. Some of these, these here are quite clearly very green for this time of year. I said before it's November 1st, and Gambel Oaks generally start turning color before then, so I think these ones are just green because they're young and they're trying to soak up as much energy as possible, stay not dormant for as long as possible to basically just get as much energy and store it back on the root, because it's going to take a lot of energy to grow back like that. With I mean, they couldn't photosynthesize at first after they're totally burned, so they needed to dip into their energy reserves in the root to do this. And now they're just trying to soak up and store energy back down as much as possible for the next season of growth. A nice view of Salt Lake City down there as well.